First of all, and Jim, that man is not about no violence. You know, call your cousin and say that boy, that's not even the time he on. He ain't even, we not even going, that's not something that we gonna put into the universe. I love you, Jim, but call your cousins, call whoever. And this man is not trying to disrespect you. He has a mission from God that he's trying to accomplish.
What's up, everybody? This is the world famous Ed Lover, and you are watching Forgotten Kings TV. That's right, Forgotten Kings TV. Come on, son.
You could do better, brother. I love you too much. I love you too much to not be honest with you. Rick Ross, you could do better, brother. Meek Mill, you could do better, brother. I love you too much not to be honest with you. Are you the face of prison reform? Cause are you the face of prison reform? Or are you sitting here on your new song with Ross talking about getting somebody murked and shot at the red light? Which one is it, bro? Which one is it, bro? Cause I did a shoe giveaway in my city and gave out 1,300 pairs of your shoes because they said reform underneath them. And I love that you partnered with a major shoe company and you out here pushing prison reform. But now I got to sit here like, man, this man glorifying getting people killed as of a week ago. Like, what are you doing, bro? Be honest with you.
There you go.
That's what it is, bro. Yep. And so if anybody feel bad about being called out, it's like let's talk. Let's talk about it and let's just figure out what we can do better. But at the end of the day, guess what's not changing? The word of God ain't changing.
Okay.
There's death and life in the power of the tongue, Proverbs 18 and 21. That's not changing. And trying with this foolish argument that it's just entertainment. This ain't real. Mm-hmm. How many more people gotta die in the hood, man?
Meek Mill, you could do better. Jim Jones, you could do better. Rick Ross, you could do better. I gotta see you do better. Wait. Little man, whoever you is, until you feed the kids where you from for 20 years straight. Don't question Rose. Wait. Until you buy 10,000 bikes, 10,000 trikes. Give all the young girls who pregnant Pampers for Christmas for 20 years straight. Don't question boss. You heard me, little man? Get that basket off your head so you could think clear, little man. You going viral for speaking on things, not because of your talent, not because of your gift. Go viral, player, off of your wisdom that you sharing. You speaking on this, yeah, Meek Mill, you just, well, you know what I mean? Died this summer, they released self-destruction. It's dying right now. It's going to be don't make it to see in the morning. Get that basket off your head, boy, and come together with real around the world. So when your grandma need a kidney, nigga, since you want to go viral, I'm going to show you how to go viral, little man. But go viral feeding them kids in your hood. Go viral giving them bikes away. Go viral Christmas time. Now, don't be saying Jim Jones just gave away goddamn 6 figures worth of clothes in his hood. And you who talking? Looking vegan, knowing you eat more goddamn Piggly Wiggly bacon than any other out here. Shut up.
Meek Mill, thank you for your reply to my video post, brother. But most importantly, thank you for your honesty and your transparency in your reply. The fact that we could be on different sides of the fence with this or have different opinions, but still remain respectful and actually address the topic at hand and not try to deflect, that makes a huge statement to all the millions of people watching this, and it actually empowers them. Now, you said, now we do everything, LOL, implying that you could be the face of prison reform and you could still be glorifying murder inside of your music. And you said, I've been rapping this way since before I was the face of prison reform. Y'all forgot that fast? No, fam, we didn't forget that fast. But through watching your evolution, we look forward to seeing you evolve musically as well, because your music still touches and has the ability to empower millions of people, bro. That way it's not confusing or misleading to people. I know as an artist you could be thinking, but man, what if I lose some of my fans when I'm making that change because they like me for the old stuff? Trust me, brother, anybody that you lose when becoming a better version of yourself, that wasn't of God, and you're gonna be better because of their loss. You will actually gain because of their loss. But when we have something called cognitive dissonance and willful ignorance that we're employing because we know better, but it's just harder to do better, man, that's the reason why I'm gonna keep you in my prayers, and I'm genuinely rooting for you, bro. I want you to get there, brother. Shine your musical light. I love you, man.
I do a lot for the people. Miss me with the rhetoric about what I do in my music. I get money off my music. Don't tell me how to make my dollars. You gotta watch whose names you mentioning out here. Mm-hmm. You heard?
Yeah.
Because my little cousin might not like how you mention my name. You heard?
So, I've been really engaged in watching, this online conversation. That pretty much, I agree it needed to be had. I agree that it was necessary. But there's been this online conversation, based on an interview that my brother, someone that I love and respect, Dee-1, started. And he started naming rappers and saying that he wanted to see the content of their music evolve from drugs and talking about murder, or as he said, glorifying murder, to something else. And he named 3 particular artists. He named Jim, who's also one of my friends, Meek, who is also a good friend of mine, and Ross, who is somebody that I have a good relationship with. And I've been just thinking about listening to all sides. And my perspective is a little different, because boycott black murder and Calico, all those things coincide pretty much with what Dee-1 is talking about. So I'm 100% on time with what he's saying. What he's saying is, yes, there has to be a change in the shift in the music that we listen to. There has to be a different frequency that we talk on when we talking, because these kids are listening, and the culture grabs on to whatever it is that we say. So there has to be a shift. Where I will give a little pushback for D is the way the message is delivered. When we look at social media and we look at media in general, it sensationalizes it, right? And what it does is it takes away the core message that you actually want to deliver, and it makes it into more of a me against you thing, right? So you have to be very careful, especially if that's not what you're doing, because I know Dee-1, that's not what he wants to do. He doesn't want a me versus you, because he constantly says, I love you brothers and I respect you brothers and I think you dope artists, but, right? Everything after but becomes the issue, right? Because what happens is the media and the social media are going to say, oh, he's saying that y'all doing devil's music and y'all doing this work and this and that. And I don't think that's what he's saying. But I think that the delivery of the message has to take into account the platform, right? It has to take into account the culture that we're in. It has to take into account the individuals that you're delivering the message, right? So when you sit there and you think about Rick Ross, you think about Jim Jones, and you think about Meek Mill, these is all the way street individuals, dudes that came pretty much from nothing. They figured it out, especially Jim and Meek. These is dudes that I know that they come from the projects, they come from the trenches, right? And it was mere survival. Like, these dudes was starving, hungry, trying to figure out how we gonna survive. And in order to survive, there's a certain energy they had to take on. There's a certain energy of, once you attack back. Always feeling attacked, having to watch your back. Jim coming from a gang culture, understanding how dangerous it is in the streets and watching every individual. And when you hear people say things, you feel attacked, you got to respond, because if you don't respond, like Jay-Z said, once you tag lame, the game is follow a leader. It's always a battle, especially in this hip hop. And so when you understand that, the way that you relay a message to those individuals has to be different than the way you would relay it, right? And I know that D1, I know your goal is not to make these people your adversaries, right? It was never, you didn't never want Rick Ross to come back and respond to you in a manner that you didn't never want Jim to be up there talking about his cousin, this and that. But those are realities that come with the lifestyle and the culture and what these individuals come from. So when you relaying a message to somebody, you have to take that into accountability. I brought up certain things, right? Because I know that D1 he's a very spiritual brother and he's religious, like in his situation, and his whole premise is based on his religion, being a Christian brother, and being strong faith in Christianity. He feels like this is his calling from God. And I feel like this is my calling. When I'm doing boycott, black murder, and cancel culture, I feel like this is my calling. So I'm 100% aligned with what it is he's doing. And in reality, if he didn't do it, I want to say this. If he didn't do it in a manner in which he did it, the conversation would never be sparked, right? So we would never be going back and forth. You wouldn't see online conversations. People wouldn't be interested. But even though it sparked the interest, it still created tension that we don't want. So my goal is, how do we fix the tension, right? So what I want to start by saying, these are certain things that come from the Bible, Dee-1, right? It says, well, let me see. I'm going to give you a quote that was in the Bible. Proverbs 18:19 says that a brother offended is hard to be won. So if you're trying to win someone over your way of thinking, you can't offend them, right? And that's a very true statement, right? A lot of times, see, you have to make clear distinctions, because you said that you love these brothers, and you said that you see positive. Like when I'm looking at Jim and I'm looking at Meek, right? I have conversations with Meek. You know what I'm saying? I've sat and talked to Jim. I've watched Jim evolve from a place that he once was. I know the individual he once was. I know what he was surrounded by and all these things. So watching him evolve and talking about cryptocurrency, watching him evolve and talking about giving back to the community, watching him evolve and taking young boys and telling them it's stupid to be out here in these streets and doing these things, seeing him have these conversations, right? From where he is, and knowing that he's a credible messenger in the space, in the community that he comes from, is very important, right? Watching Meek Mill do reform, watching Meek Mill get people free from prison, watching Meek Mill go back to his community and really have real conversations, being at the NAACP, talking about, you know, nonviolence, explaining how the record companies are utilizing this music and taking the negativity, and they won't push nothing but negative. Having those real conversations is evolution. And we all evolve at different rates, Dee-1. The place that you are and the level of involvement and the level of enlightenment that you have is God's blessing. All of us are not going to reach there at the same time. Right? Watching Rick Ross and see him talking about buying back the block and making sure that he wants to, you know, educate these young kids and give them opportunities, you know, and understanding in totality how that's going to change the structure and even the need for violence in our community is way bigger, in my opinion, right? So sometimes you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? You gotta acknowledge that certain people are evolving at their pace. Like when they said, when the brother with Malcolm was approached by, you know, by the Nation of Islam, in order to win over Malcolm, he gave him some liquor first, right? He knew Malcolm would like liquor. The NOI brother, who was a spiritual brother who didn't drink anything, but he understood that was the way for me to get the ear of Malcolm X. So let me give him some liquor first, right? Because he understood the reality of what is going on. I've watched Minister Farrakhan sit in rooms with thousands of some of the hardest artists, rappers, and never judged them, right? Never told them, you're lukewarm, you either with God or you're not. No, he gave them, he lived a way, and he presented himself in a way that made them feel like, I'm going to have to grow, right? He spoke life into them, right? He didn't make them adversaries. He didn't utilize, well, I'm doing this and we're on the good side and you on the bad side. It's hard to win over, especially the individuals that you're talking about and the kind of individuals you're talking about that come from absolutely nothing. And they seen the way that they transferred their message. They seen the words and the message that they have changed their realities in their lives. So if you're trying to change the spirit of an individual, then you have to appeal to his spirit, right? Like you have to live God-like. Because if you live in God-like and individuals are watching you, and they seeing that, damn, that brother is walking in the light and the shine that's different. I want that for me, right? But you deter them when you make a person feel like I'm this and you that, and I'm doing this for God and you doing this for that. It's not the messaging, right? It's not the way that you want to relay the message, D. You know, and I know that you want to relay it properly. I know that you really have a mission, you know, and I don't want I'm watching this situation. I'm watching Ross and I'm watching Jim, and I know these is good brothers, but I know where they come from. So I know the way that you have to relay a message to them, right? You're not wrong. We all have to grow. We all the message in our music has to grow because we raising these kids. You're not wrong. But having a conversation with these individuals, sitting down with them, seeing them individually, and saying, you know what? I love you, brother. You know, I want to have a conversation with you. You might not even want to hear it, but just put it in the ear. Because you know, when you humble an individual by coming in peace, you know, it turns it first of all. And Jim, that man is not about no violence. You know, call your cousin and say that boy, that's not even the time he on. He ain't even, we not even going, that's not something that we gonna put into the universe. I love you, Jim, but call your cousins, call whoever. And this man is not trying to disrespect you. He has a mission from God that he's trying to accomplish. You know, so we not putting that into that universe. We black brothers, and we gonna show even in this moment that we're going to resolve our issues. You know, hopefully, I want y'all to be able to come to the table. I can't tell you that can happen. Hopefully, on the strength of just us showing progress and us showing these young brothers what conflict resolution look like and what brotherhood look like, we can have a real conversation, because this has sparked the conversation. Maybe we can have a panel. Maybe we can have a behind the doors conversation. But the reality is these babies is watching us, right? And none of us are adversary. None of us are the ops. All of us actually want to see these kids grow, contrary to what a lot of the other bullshit. There's a lot of people that want to see us dead. They preying on these babies. They not giving nothing back to the community. They're not telling them how to get out of the community. They're not doing nothing. They're preying on these babies. But none of these individuals that we talking about, that D-1 name, D-1, none of us are trying to do that. So we all allies. Everybody for the progression of our people is only for allyship and unity. So I wanted to spark this. And I also want to say, D-1, you know, you said something about being lukewarm. You know, God hates somebody that's lukewarm, right? And I don't think you lukewarm. I think you strong. I think you made a conscious decision of who you are, and you moving in your light. But I will say, when you did the song with Game, who is my brother, that's a brother that took me from when nobody was doing anything, took me on tour, put me on his wing. This is a brother of mine. But Game's content is the same content as the rest of these brothers, right? You did music with Game, right? You didn't call Game, and I'm not saying it's hypocritical, but you got to think about it, right? At that point, you see the God in Game. I know Game. I know he's a God-fearing individual. I know what his ultimate goal is. I know ultimately he wants to unite these kids. He calls me all the time and tells me, "I love what it is you do, Mice. Keep on support. I want to support everything you do." But you was able to see that in those individuals. So we can't unite with some individuals who are flawed, who haven't reached exactly where we are yet, and then the other individuals we call out and say we want to see them grow. So I'm saying that to say all of us have a goal, and everyone in this situation we're talking about actually wants to see progress for our people. And some of us see it different. Some of us have not reached a religious level. Some of us will never be as religious as you are, D-1, but some of us actually care about these kids. We actually have a spiritual relationship, and our relationship with God may be different than what your relationship with God, but it doesn't mean that we don't have one. So what I want you to do is start living in the light that you know that God would, right? Living in the light, so when people see you, it reflects and they want to be like you. Right? So we don't have to call out our brothers. We can call in our brothers, especially the ones that we know have good intentions. Sometimes they just don't know all the things, and sometimes they may never know all the things. But we know when they want to evolve and it's in their heart, we're going to give them the opportunity. We're going to be the voice. We're going to give them the outlet. We're going to be, you never know. Some of these brothers, I've watched brothers come from the streets, come from the trenches and doing the shit that we see and become preachers. Right? They turned their life because God touched them at a different time. So we never know when and how God is going to touch each individual. But all we have to do is keep the line of communication, keep the love, and keep embracing all of our brothers that we know are trying to do better.